right.
Oh, my dear. Good morning. All very good. You?
I'm doing well.
You know, you look like was it Paul Newman?
Well,
Yes,
Did you get that?
I'll take that.
You'll take it.
Especially the high, right?
You know, and yeah, there is something. Yeah.
And your attitude as well.
Well, thank you very much.
Have you ever been an actor on TV?
No, I was just telling her a friend of mine and I co-wrote a screenplay that's going to be. It's already in pre-production.
Okay.
For Netflix, so
Nice.
yeah, we have that going on. But I may end up being in that bit part, and see what happens.
Well, okay. So let's say your name and who doesn't know you.
Well, most people don't. It's Tim Stafford. I'm one of the founders of Blue Highway, and we're at Blue Highway Fest. So yeah.
And what do you do?
I'm a professional guitar player and songwriter and singer, and I'm also right now I'm an academic person. Also, I'm teaching an online course, a grad course for Appalachian State University in North Carolina, and I'm also the artist in residence for the Bluegrass program at East Tennessee State University.
Nice, and opposed to that, and the other day we saw you performing. The other night and yesterday, the songwriting workshop.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, so good. The music you play and the storytelling. I love the storytelling.
Oh yeah, that's one of the reasons we wanted to do this songwriting thing, so that it would bring these great writers in, like Tony Arata and Daryl Scott and all these guys, and have them give the backstory to these songs that probably a lot of people know. Everybody knows The Dance by Garth Brooks. But to hear Tony talk about how he does it and how it happened and all that, I mean, that just brings in a whole level to it.
Absolutely. It adds more depth to what you are listening and makes the whole difference.
Yeah, I loved hearing it anyway. I don't know about anybody else.
So let's get to your story from the very beginning. So where were you born? Were you born in Beeston Gap?
No, I'm from Kingsport, Tennessee, which is about 30 miles south of here.
Okay.
And was raised there, and I went to school at. Can we wait on that?
We can wait a second. Yeah.
It's natural. It's all natural. So,
that's why we have amazing. These are state-of-the-art engineered audio microphones.
Oh, good. So they'll pick up it no matter.
No. But even if someone else comes and talk into your microphone, they won't pick it up.
I love that.
That's definitely your voice now.
Reducing the noise.
Well, yeah, I grew up in Kingsport, Tennessee, and then I got involved in music as a high school student, and really got consumed by bluegrass music and thought I'd love to do that for a living. And the first bluegrass festival that I went to that really cemented that addiction was a festival that Larry Roberts' brother put on.
Okay.
So there's a connection there, and only about 10 miles away from here in Wise, Virginia. And I just couldn't believe how great it was, because the music I was so enraptured with. But I had never met any of those people, and I heard they
were fascinated. You
were. I was, and they said, "Oh, you can get autographs." So I went right up to one of my heroes, John Duffy, and he was so nice and signed my hand. I was like, I love this. It's just, I can do this.
I want to sign autographs.
Or at least, I want to play music.
It's could have both just pen and paper.
Well, but then I got into college and decided I wanted to do academics. So I worked on a PhD in history at Miami University in Ohio. So I lived up there for some time.
Now, is that necessary for doing business? Because I have a degree as well, but for what I'm doing, it wouldn't have been necessary. I could have just started doing what I wanted to do and learn the business.
No, I looked back on it at one time and thought, I wish I hadn't gone to school, because I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't.
Me too. Yeah.
But then I thought, well, now though it's come in handy. These academic positions that I have now.
Oh, okay.
I've done a lot of writing. I wrote a book on Tony Rice. I co-wrote it, and I'm writing other books now.
It's handy to know how to write.
It comes in handy. Yeah.
Otherwise, you don't go. Yeah, nobody can understand.
Nobody does this.
No.
I hate to break it to you. No, but I got into academics and left Miami in '86 and was coming back to East Tennessee and wanted to finish writing my dissertation.
Okay.
And got involved in music again because I was playing with bands before that, you know, and actually played with some guys up there in Miami, at Ohio too. But
do you like being on the road, or do you prefer doing like
in studio?
when I was younger, I really liked being on the road, but since I'm older, I like being at home a lot more. So yeah.
When is the age when you started to say, "Oh, let's..."
A few years back, for me, probably in the 50s.
On the 50s, okay. You start saying, I should do less of that.
Probably so.
Yeah.
Although I know people in this music that play till they're 85.
85 on the road.
Yes.
And they're still on the road.
Okay. They just bring you with a...
Yeah. Prop you up on stage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Put you on a...
With some...
Yeah.
How do you call that?
Yeah.
A crew.
Yeah.
A crane. Yeah. A crane.
It's a commitment to the highway.
And now the well-acclaimed singer. And the wheels spinning.
You'd be surprised. Oh, man. There was a guy that we knew that he was one of my heroes, Charlie Waller with the Country Gentlemen. We got to play quite a few shows with him in his later years. He was close to 80 years old. And he had to sit down on a stool, and he looked so frail when he would get on stage. He opened that mouth.
You get the energy back.
Oh,
yeah.
God. It was like he was 25.
Yeah.
It was just crazy. But,
Yes, it's like, as we have seen even yesterday, like you are all force of nature. When you are on stage, you are a joy to listen, to watch.
I'll tell you, you get around people like Daryl Scott, Tony Arata, and people like that, it makes it, I mean, Daryl called it like a brotherhood of writers, you know, which it's true. It's really cool to be around people that do what you do.
Yeah, absolutely.
But anyway, back, you know, I wanted to do academics, but I also
We're just the same.
The music. I got a chance in 1990 to play with Alison Krauss. So Alison wasn't that well known at the time, and oh
no, that wasn't for me.
I played with her for a couple of years, and so that got me. I don't know him by way of any means. When I played with Alison, it sort of really set the hook on me because I saw this community really close up because we toured all the time. We were all the time. We made one record with her, you know, and then I had a son in January of '92, and so I decided that if I was ever going to see him,
you would have to sacrifice some of the.
So I left her band for that reason.
Oh, okay, interesting.
And, I thought, well, I'll just go back into academics, but really, I checked in at Miami, and they said, no, it's been too many years. You're going to take extra coursework. And I did not want to go back to Ohio and make extra coursework. So
of course.
I went ahead and I worked odd jobs, and one of the things I did was write articles for publications like Bluegrass Unlimited. I did one on a band that Wayne Taylor was in. And so I saw him play, and I thought, that guy ever leaves that band,
Let's go something.
I think I'll check out, see what he's doing.
Yeah.
So,
like in the movies, you let's see what the kid has got.
yeah. Well, and you know, I mean, I wasn't planning to get back into it full time. I thought, well, we could put together a part-time band that'll stay pretty busy and make records and do whatever. And then we started Blue Highway in '94, and it just took off. Yeah.
What was your biggest challenge? You started quite early, right?
Yeah.
But what was your your biggest challenge? Was it business side? Because usually that's the most. If you're a creative, going out and sell is not something that someone is more inclined to do. Yeah.
It takes two sides of the brain, I guess. You know, the left side of the brain.
Right. You don't want to sell, you just want to do it, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to say, come on, buy it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're just interested in playing and singing and writing or whatever you do, you know.
You just want to be immersed.
That other side, man. Oh, that other side's a totally different ball game, and I'm.
You don't want to go there and say, "I can give you 2 songs for $9.99."
Retail.
Yeah, exactly. This is an offer. You know what? I'm gonna throw there some jazz blue
Chops it, slices it, dices.
and 2 onions.
Yeah, so that part of it, I don't.
Yeah,
I'm not as good at that. I don't.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a businessman per se. So.
How did you overcome it?
Yeah, you have to learn that as you go. I mean, because there's just the reality of getting.
Did you delegate it? Maybe.
Yeah, at first I didn't. I did all of it, but I had to after a while.
Yeah.
So our dobro player Rob took it over.
Because some people are so good at it, and then that's what they do. They sell it. Yeah.
That's what they love.
And when you get to a certain level, you can hire people to do that. We did hire an agent, so they did all the booking. We have some bookkeepers that do that kind of stuff in the past.
They have all their techniques. Some of our salesmen, you know, they sell our hair as well. We never thought of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
and I give you some Marcos pubic hairs. Within the first 2 shows, you book. That's it sells like crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's what you want out there. Yeah.
That's the other side of being creative. Right?
There is another side.
You gotta always be creative. And if you want them, just shoot me an email. Yeah.
Please don't do that.
Send the boss.
But yeah, just a lot of. I mean, learn as you go.
Yes.
That's
Absolutely. Yeah.
What about your partner? Did you ever have her or he? I don't know.
Her,
involved within your creative process or selling process?
No. I've been married twice. My first wife wasn't involved in it, and Janet, my wife now, she doesn't. You know, I mean, she is involved as far as coming to the show. She sells for us. She does our merchandise.
Okay.
Which is cool. You know, I mean, I get to have her there.
That's why you left the first one. Yeah, no, she can do sales better.
That's not it. No. But you know, it can take a toll on marriages being gone, and you know, on your relationships with everybody you have. But that's another reason that it's good that ours slowed down the last few years, so that we spend more time at home, and, you know. And as I get older, I just don't want to go out as much.
You know, I think when you do what you do and how we do it, like we don't have children, you know, so it's you can make things happen, but you got to do what's necessary.
Yeah.
So if you start doing kids early, if you start doing some things that can hold you back, then of course it's going to be harder, you know, to succeed. Yeah. Instead, if you like for you, I guess being on the road and you would have to see less family.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and if you wanna if you wanna write a lot of songs, you're gonna have to put the time in, and so you can't be present within your family the whole time.
No,
like someone else can.
That's the way it works, and families that are involved with musicians know that. They know that that's part of the deal. If they get involved, is that I'm not going to be there all the time, so I try to make the most of it when I am there. But the writing too, you know. Used to write a lot by myself, but then as time goes on, I've done a lot of co-writing. And back then, we didn't have Zoom.
Yes.
So during the pandemic, all that took off, and I wrote almost every day via Zoom. So that's a way to connect without having to be in the same room with somebody.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
You know, it makes a difference.
Yes.
You were writing about yourself, where you were writing about your appearance, like I look beautiful today.
That's all my songs.
That's all.
No,
my mustache pretty clean.
Yeah, I've worked on that. Can't get rid of that.
Can't get rid of that.
No.
What do you like to write about?
That's a good question. Very rarely about myself. I like to write just all kinds of different things, but I love historical songs. I've written a lot of those kinds of things over the years. But just really anything that catches my eye. If I hear a good line, I like to eavesdrop sometimes to hear what people are saying.
Okay.
You know, Harlan Howard was this great country writer, and he would go to bars and listen. He'd eavesdrop. And the hazard with that is he became an alcoholic. A lot of people do in writing. But but you overhear conversations, and sometimes when people are drinking, they'll let their guard down.
Yes.
So that's a good time to catch them, you know. And he caught tons of classic song ideas that way, you know. And I do that too. I like to, if I see something in the newspaper or online, I write it down immediately, and I have a collection here that I keep with me on my phone.
Do you keep like like notes, or do you write on your phone?
I have a note program on my phone.
Okay, yeah, it's better, yeah.
And then I also have a recorder on there, so anytime I get a melodic idea.
Oh, because it has to be heardable. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Exactly.
if you don't do it right away, you'll forget it.
Oh yeah,
of course, yeah.
You think you'll remember it, but you don't remember.
No, you won't remember it.
No.
Yes, or you always need to switch quickly during the day.
Yeah.
So you can keep it
Yes.
there. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I do it on this, and then I can send it to my email, so I have it. I send it to 2 or 3 people, so it can't get lost. You know?
Yes. Yeah.
That's the way we do it with songs these days. It's like when we write a song with a co-writer, I send a copy to them, to me, to my wife, and then we've got it several different places. You know, also helps with data creation. It's not as good as a copyright, but it's pretty strong.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Have you ever written about something that was more? Was this that you wrote about yourself? But because sometimes when I talk about a topic, it's because somehow I think that connects with the word as well. You know, it's something that can solve something, maybe a solution.
Yeah.
Do you ever do something like? Have you ever written a song that there was a solution for something?
Yeah. I try not to preach in my songs. You know, that's something.
Oh, I love doing that. Yeah.
Well, I try not to do that because I think people they don't like to be preached at. But I do like to. One of the things that's really cool about songwriting is that you can actually show people what you're talking about without telling them.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
So
I love that.
If you actually say it without saying it, you know, if you actually,
it's always better. Yeah,
much better. Yeah, because they discover it on their own that way, and they say, "Oh, that's about this." Wow.
Even saying "follow your dreams" is like how can you don't know me? How can you?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's true actually. Yeah.
There's a way to say that without saying.
Yeah.
Hold to a Dream, although that's a great song that Tim O'Brien, who's going to be here, wrote. You know, sometimes you do need to give people an anthem that they can.
Absolutely, they can cheer that up. Yeah,
and they can change things.
Yeah. Can you give us an example? Can you sing something that was like of inspiration, or maybe?
Well, there's a great song that Johnny Cash did called "Out Among the Stars," and the song is about a guy who decides, we don't know why, but in the beginning of the song, he's going to knock over a liquor store. And he's got all these demons in his life. And, you know, the chorus is real uplifting. Oh, how many travelers are weary, searching for, I can't remember exactly.
The words.
The words, can't find them. Let's say, out among the stars, but that's the chorus is real uplifting. But then you find out in the 3rd verse, after he's been shot by the police, that the last verse goes to his home where his father throws a bottle at the television and says, "We'll never live this down." Well, that tells you right there the reason the guy was the way he was.
Yes, yeah.
Absolutely.
He had a father like that.
Yeah.
So that shows you without telling you, you know. And there's all kinds of examples of great songs like that.
I can't sing it. I usually have to talk about it. You know? Yeah, my father did that, and you know that.
And you know who you are.
Yeah, Dad.
Yeah. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
Well, that's
but yeah, it's 2 different ways of communicating. I just go straight. Yeah.
Yeah. I just tell you. But no, yeah, that's one of the things about songs is that it's different from talking to people. It's different from preaching. It's different from other forms of communication because different people get different meanings out of it, and that's what you want. You know, I mean, I've had people come up to me and say, "I love this song or that song," and it's because it reminds me of this. And I said, well, that's not what it's about, but I'm glad, you know.
Because
You're
you
an idiot.
relate
Yes, you related
comparing
to
your
it.
personal life
I had
and
a-
personal development journey.
That's exactly right. And I had somebody say, a writer friend of mine, he said, once we put it out there, it's their song.
Yes.
And it's what they do with it. And it's not really yours anymore. It's theirs. So I love that. I think that's something that you can do.
But you shouldn't be so polite.
Hey, man.
Yeah. You shouldn't be so polite. You should get angry. And you know what? I'm going to give you your money back. You give me the song back. Yeah, you don't deserve it. Yeah?
That's my song.
That's not the meaning. That's not the purpose. It was meant to be.
Yeah, I had a friend who used to do that when he would MC at a Bluegrass festival. He'd say, we have a money-back guarantee on our record. Said, you give us the unused part of the record, and we will give you the unused part of the money.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Tim, you are a Grammy Award-winning artist, 2 times IBMA Songwriter of the Year, including this year.
Yeah.
And you are a producer, an author, a mentor. We heard so much about you.
Erika, this is
from
something
all
that you
the
would say at the
singers.
beginning. No.
I'm gonna. And
What a second.
Well, this event, it's a lot of people coming together, and there are people behind the scenes like Larry Roberts and Steve Lawson, and without those guys, this wouldn't happen. Maybe, you know, the band could come down here and play a show. A few people might show up, but it's not going to be what you're seeing here. Keep on trucking.
I said yes. I said yes, but I couldn't understand the word. Yeah.
Those are coal trucks, by the way.
There's probably someone that called them. They just passed in front of the interview.
Now.
Yeah.
But yes, I want to say we spoke yesterday with many other super talented musicians who told us Tim Stafford inspired me. Tim Stafford mentored me.
Well,
and I wanted to ask you, what would be your advice to younger musicians who are just getting started? Because you have had such a long and successful career. And
yeah, well, just stay with it. Just make sure that you treat it as a job. Because it's a job.
Oh, yeah.
And if you don't take it seriously, you probably won't be successful. Although, if you don't keep having fun with it, you probably won't want to
Absolutely.
be. So you've got to do both things.
Yeah.
So after a while, you know, you play music professionally, you've got to find ways to keep yourself engaged. And what I do a lot of times is I'll play the records that got me involved in it, got me excited. And I'll go back to those and say, oh yeah, I remember why I like this song.
Yes.
I have to reconnect. And
You, as the same way that you would define the user experience for any product, you need to define your user experience first.
Exactly.
That you connect it to the world.
your passion that brought you to it. Yeah. Exactly.
So that you can have fun and keep doing it. And then,
Yes.
Totally agree.
If you are not attached, if you don't believe in it, you're you.
It's going to come across if you don't believe in it.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
But yeah, and I would just say, you know, there's a lot of resources available now that weren't available when I was coming up to take advantage.
like our show.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But also, you know, I mean, there's technology to learn. Like YouTube has a built-in thing that lets you slow down recordings, which when I was coming up, you had to do that on records. You had to put it on 16 speed and pick up the needle, because we had vinyl back in those days, and it would slow it down an octave, or bring it down an octave and slow it down to where you could hear what was being done. You could pick out all the things.
Yeah.
Now you can do that on YouTube, on any record, anything that's on YouTube.
Yes.
And, you know, take advantage of all that and learn. And also we have colleges like East Tennessee State now, where I'm at, that, I mean, you can get a degree in bluegrass. At the time, I would have thought, oh my gosh, that's
so niche.
It's I love that.
Yeah,
we spoke yesterday with the Grass.
Yeah, you
Bluegrass
talk
Pride
to them.
band.
Oh, yes. Yeah, they
amazing.
They were one of the best groups I've seen in a while. Yesterday shows you how far that program has come. But the fact that there are programs like that, and it's not just ETSU. We have a bunch of them across the country. and it's expanding worldwide too. Bluegrass is a music. I know some Italian bluegrass bands. There's some friends of mine called Red Wine.
Red Wine.
No.
Red Wine. Yeah, they're a great band. And they
Sounds Italian.
it's very
Red wine.
they're
French.
Milano. They're from Milano, yeah.
Nice.
And
Or maybe Vino Rosso.
yeah, I know a guy, Beppe Gambetta. He's an Italian guitarist.
Gambetta.
Gambetta. Yeah, so there's a tremendous bluegrass community in the Czech Republic.
Oh, okay.
It's probably the second biggest in the world next to America.
Wow.
So
I would have thought that it was like in Ireland or Scotland.
there is a pretty significant presence there, but a lot of things came together. They had this tramping movement in the Czech Republic, and it was also forbidden back during the Cold War when they were behind the Iron Curtain.
That's why it became so popular. Yeah.
Yeah, because they had to work to get it.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, they were making instruments out of cans and stuff, I mean, they couldn't, and some of the best luthiers in the world, for that reason, come from Czech Republic today. Jaroslav Pruka, who makes our raffle mandolin and banjo that we do here at the festival, is from Czech Republic. And his instruments are some of the best in the world. And all of Europe is served by the luthiers in the Czech Republic who build instruments. So,
is it bluegrass a genre that needs certain center instruments to be played, or can you play them even with a piano? Can you go? Is it more about the storytelling, or what's the genre itself?
Traditionally, bluegrass. I say traditionally because it's kind of a loaded term. It's like authentic, pure. What is that? Well, the first bluegrass band really started in 1945 when Earl Scruggs joined Bill Monroe's band, the Bluegrass Boys. And at that time, it was a banjo, an acoustic guitar, a mandolin, a fiddle, and a bass. And that's sort of been the template for bluegrass since then. And especially that banjo, because his banjo sound was so revolutionary. It changed everything.
Oh, okay.
And then, as time went on, other banjo sounds came in, like Bela Fleck's style. And that's sort of the dominant sound in what we call the big tent, where you see all these young jammers playing bluegrass. And because of that, the definition of bluegrass has sort of expanded. So bluegrass, after Oh Brother, Where Art Thou movie, became sort of a metaphor for all kinds of roots music. And that's where it's at today. So you'll see people playing harmonicas, maybe other instruments that aren't necessarily considered bluegrass, but they're called bluegrass because it's a catch-all for all of roots music.
And why bluegrass? I mean, the grass.
That's a good question. I can answer that. It's called bluegrass because Bill Monroe
was drinking too much.
No, he didn't drink actually. No. But no, his band was called the Bluegrass Boys because he was from Kentucky, the Bluegrass State.
Okay.
So he named it after his home state, and it wasn't called bluegrass music for about 10 years after it was formed.
Okay.
It was just part of country music.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And so then there's certain things that caused it to be named. One of them was rock and roll. Rock and roll was a huge challenge to country and bluegrass.
Oh, yes.
It almost started.
I can see that. Yeah.
Started them out. So what happened was country music became more pop. And when it became more pop, they kicked bluegrass out.
Okay. Yeah.
So the bluegrass people, the more traditional sounds, had to come up with their own thing. And about that time, too, a lot of college students, young students, were really getting into folk music. So folk music adopted bluegrass as well.
Okay.
So that's when it got its name. And Bill Monroe thought bluegrass was just his band. I mean, for a long time, he didn't realize he had started a whole type of music.
whole genre.
Yeah. So
Absolutely. And with the Blue Highway Band that you funded, you play contemporary bluegrass. So what's the influence that you added onto traditional bluegrass?
Okay, yeah. I mean, if we had been born 30 years earlier, we would have played what they call traditional bluegrass, because that we would have been under the influence of Flat Scruggs and the Stanley Brothers and Bill Monroe directly. but we weren't so much because there'd been a lot of music in between that the second generation of bluegrass played. People like J.D. Crowe in the New South, Tony Rice, Doyle Lawson and Quicksilver, all these different bands. We had heard all that in the 80s, and so that's what we listened to, you know. So you can't expect us to just sound like Bill Monroe's bands from the 40s. Although we love that stuff, and we've recorded his songs. We've recorded Stanley Brothers songs. So we love the old stuff, but
you probably have a good feeling. It brings you back to those memories as well. That's what I have when I hear the 883 is an Italian
yes, true.
group. When I hear that, I can hear it's very old, but it brings me back to those memories of when I was 16.
Yes,
so I get there, you know.
That's what I'm still looking for, is that music that turned me on so much when I was 15.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
And music can be so powerful in that.
Oh,
like
God.
now that you mentioned 883, for example, from Italy,
Same thing with
it's
you guys.
like brings you
So
back.
let me ask you, how do you react to young people when they say, "What's 883? What is all this?" Right?
I kidnap them. I kidnap them, and
We say no.
they're not gonna see the light of day for the next 60 days.
You don't know them?
With
Like this.
headphones on you in the
Yeah.
dark.
And then I put them back on in the interview, and I go, okay, so let's do this again.
Try it again. Okay.
After 60 days of dark.
I like that. That's a good.
It's,
I'm gonna
But it's also that moment in which you feel like he's very young. Very
You
young.
guys are too young. Yeah. I mean, you know, it's stuff that I remember from the '80s and pop music is ancient history to the kids that I'm teaching now. And but luckily in bluegrass has such a sense of tradition, and most of the kids that I'm teaching now, they know all that stuff that happened in bluegrass in the '80s. They love it. In fact, there's a whole band at ETSU taught by Wyatt Rice, Tony Rice's brother, of his style of music. It's called Space Grass.
Okay.
There's a Space Grass ensemble. So I hear all these kids playing this music I first heard in the '70s all around me at ETSU, which is really cool.
Actually, I grew up listening to a lot of American music, like Cyndi Lauper.
Oh, yeah.
And
I love Cyndi Lauper.
yeah, but so I didn't have a strong Italian influence. Always. Then later on, of course, Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears. No. Well, actually, oops, I did it again. It was great. But no, it was no. I said that. So Cyndi Lauper and
Johnny Cash, I love it.
no,
Yeah,
I wasn't.
You like Johnny Cash?
Yes.
Annie Lennox.
It seems like he's a universal thing, and it cuts across ages, countries.
True.
I don't know what it is about Johnny Cash. He's just so relatable to a lot of people.
The Van Halen.
Van
Van
Halen.
Halen.
You know, we played on a Van Halen tribute album.
Oh, okay.
And we
Nice.
did the song "I'll Wait," and Wayne sang it. And people still talk about it. They love that cut. And that album is just a bluegrass tribute to Van Halen. And Rawson was on it. You know, the lead singer from Van Halen. He was on the record too.
Oh, wow, nice.
Yeah.
Uh,
So yeah, it was pretty wild to do those songs bluegrass style. But
yeah.
Beautiful.
I love the song Walking on Broken Glass.
that's on the record. Yeah, I forget who did it, but yeah, that one's on there.
Yeah. Anyway, yes, sorry.
And Tim, do you feel more like because you are a guitarist and a songwriter and a producer, and now also you are also in the academic board as a teacher and a mentor? Where do you feel like the most? Would you feel more like a songwriter if you would have to identify yourself?
Probably so. Yeah. These days, it's more about writing. It's been sort of what I've done for the last 15 years or so, more often than anything else. And I'm teaching a songwriting seminar at East Tennessee State. So my academic side is actually folded into songwriting as well. So that's what I concentrate on most these days. I've been doing a lot of writers' rounds and getting other cuts by artists. And I've been trying to do that as much as I can the last few years. So I've been successful doing that in the bluegrass world. We've just got to pitch. You got to learn how to pitch your songs once you write them, which is another thing altogether. That's part of that business side that I'm not so great at. But people will ask me for songs, and I'll say, "Okay, I'll email you a few songs," and I'll say,
Oh, nice.
and and that's usually how they get cut. In bluegrass, you can do that. Totally different world in country. Totally different world.
And then you would get those songs, and they say, "Oh, sorry, no, I didn't get them."
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Making millions out of it. But it was all my work.
No, that's not going to happen. That's one good thing about bluegrass is small stakes. So, so there's not any piracy that goes on for the most part.
Yes.
But you have to be worried about that in pop music and country music. That's why we have these big lawsuits for copyright.
You
know, but not in bluegrass.
People would just come up and say, "Oh, that was my."
Well, you know, George Harrison got sued for the melody for "My Sweet Lord" back in the 70s, and then Harry Styles just got sued. You know,
because they thought that some of the notes were similar.
Too similar, yeah.
Some of the tunes they maybe they were
too similar, and
which is 7 chords, right?
There's only
it's easy
can
to
easily.
There's only so many notes, yeah. But Harry Styles won, and it's a really good thing that he won that case because it could have really negatively affected songwriting.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, I can imagine if I were to start today, you know, and I would just put together something that it's great for me, and maybe mistakenly, you know,
Not even
there's millions of songs around. Yeah, I'm sure that I would do something identical to someone else already.
Well, that's why when I write a song, first thing I do if I come up with a melody is
there a place where you can go?
There is a place you can go Shazam and a couple of other sites. You can actually sing melody, and they'll tell you if there's another song that has that similar melody.
But still, even Shazam could not recognize it.
It's possible.
Could tell you, yeah, thumbs up, you're good to go. Yeah.
But lyrically, it's easy to do.
Yeah.
If I come up with an idea, I'll immediately research that idea and put lyrics in the search. And so if there's been a song that's by that title, it'll come up. And
wow, yeah.
You can't copyright a title.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to redo, you know, the dance, you could.
Yes.
I wouldn't, you know, but you could do that.
We're so lucky that you can't copyright documentaries or phrases or questions. Otherwise, that would be, I can ask you that question. Otherwise.
Yeah, that's already in the.
How old are you? Oh, no, sorry. What's your favorite color?
Yeah.
I can't go there.
Sorry. Copyright, according to copyright restrictions.
I'm forbidden to ask you this question. But did we take arrangement this morning about clothing?
Clothing?
We didn't, right?
No.
You're dressed the same.
Yes.
Oh, you mean
white shoes?
Yeah, white shoes. That's true.
You know, I might have been unconsciously.
That's so good. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Exactly.
I saw this
You and Eric are basically
twins. That's right. No, I got the memo.
I'm so sorry that I'm not wearing jeans.
Yeah.
I can do jeans now.
She's got jeans on, so that's good.
So good. I think it's when you're connected.
Man, I hope so. I hope so. Glad we got the memo. Yeah. That's in the loop.
And Tim, so for Mark and I, what we are doing now, what we do in our life,
I don't know what we're doing.
Makes us happy. It's what makes our heart beat.
Well,
and there is nothing else that matters when we do this.
You got to find something like that. Everybody
What
does.
about you? What does songwriting means for you? How does it feel?
Well, I don't know. I know that I would do it if I didn't have to. You know, if it wasn't my job or what I do for a living, I think I would still do it because it's just something that I did when I was very young. When I first started doing this, I immediately started writing songs, and they were terrible. Nobody will ever hear those songs, but you know, at least I was trying back then, and I just feel like it's what I do. You know, I love to write prose too. You know, and I write a lot of articles, and I'm working on a book and written one book, but that's a different thing than songwriting. Songwriting connects your brain.
Yes,
there's something about the synergy that it brings you. It's a synergy with left, right brain, you know, lyrical on the page, melody in the head.
Do you always keep that in mind? Oh no, I'm writing this with the left side. Let me write something with the right.
Yeah, and you know, I say that, but I'm also well aware the laterality studies show that it's not necessarily a left and right brain. It's just that you have tendencies in the left brain.
To associate. Oh, okay.
Yeah. They didn't know about that stuff until they did commissurotomy studies with people that had their corpus callosum split.
I think that they made this up. Yeah. There's left and right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they found out that people acted like they had two brains. They did that. Oh. And then they said, well, left brain sees things linearly and logically, and the right brain is more intuitive and musical.
Yes.
You know? Yeah. Kind of like a melody and to me, that's the biggest challenge of songwriting is trying to find out when you get a set of lyrics what that sounds like. Is like, okay.
Do you have a specific process
you
go through?
Yeah, it's an unconscious process.
You feel it.
I feel it. Yeah. And it's there underneath. It's in that unconscious. So when you've been working on the lyric, there is actually a melody back there. So my job is to not get in the way, let it get out. You know.
Do you close the door? Do you lock the door? Do you go some other places? Because sometimes when I'm in the creative mood, I don't want to be disturbed.
I do that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I can't do it.
I close Eric.
I remember that.
I close Eric in the closet. Erica, sorry, I'm getting in the creative mode. Yeah. I'll see you later. I talk to you later.
Well, I talk to you when it's dinner or lunch.
Well, I shut the door. I do shut the door because you can't have other sounds when you're writing, you know, because so much of it is auditory and listening to, especially when you're co-writing with other people. You know, you got to get their ideas. But yeah, looking at an idea or a set of lyrics and saying, what's it sound like? Because the whole key is matching the melody to the lyric. Can you actually, with a melody, evoke what that lyric means? And that's the key to songwriting to me. That's the whole, on the technical level, that's where it's at. So that's an ongoing struggle because you can't really, if you try to do it rationally and consciously, it sort of sounds like it. So you have to let that subconscious flow out.
Do you get more inspired because? So, for example, with our questions, with my questions, I love making jokes as well, and comedy, the comedy part.
Sure.
But sometimes I get so inspired by something that is making me sad, perhaps, or maybe it's a challenge in my life. So I ask that question to the guests. And do you get more inspired by saddest moments, or maybe from happy moments?
Good question.
Because when you're happy, maybe you're at peace. You don't even want to write.
Yeah. Both. Sad things really inspire me for some reason. For a while there, it's all I did was write really sad songs. But and there's something powerful about a sad song that I don't think you can get in a happy song. I hate to say that, but having said that, there is something so uplifting about music where people are singing along. Like Daryl Scott last night had people singing.
Oh yes.
Great day to be. It's a great day to be alive. I mean, how much more upbeat can you get than that?
Yes.
And the whole crowd was singing along, and that's a powerful moment. When you connect with people.
It was beautiful. Yes.
But a sad song too, man. I mean, it can just be music too. Music just moves me to tears a lot of times. Just the melody, and I can't explain it.
But it makes you connect with something personal. So
probably, although, and sometimes it seems like that's not the case. It's something deeper than that. I don't know what it is. Like, I first heard the music to Schindler's List before I'd seen the movie, and I didn't even know what the music was about.
True.
And it's just like, I couldn't get through it without crying. It's just like so powerful. And then when I saw the movie, it was like, wow. So there's something about there's certain melodies that just speak to me. And when I listen to them over and over again. I listen to them like 100.
So may I ask you on this note, because many times we talk about, and I mean, you all know now, but basically I didn't have a happy relationship with my family. So many of the things that make me upset are about maybe not feel included, And I think that I bring this from my family. that was my starting point, and then everything else is always trying to find a family all over the world. What about you? Did you have a supportive family?
Yeah, I mean, I did in a way, but I had
your moments.
Yeah, there's definitely moments. But the thing I think it's important is like with you realize that. So when you're saying something or doing something, that it's probably because of that. So that way you can reflect. It's something we have as humans that makes us, be able to relate to other people.
Yeah.
Is that I know that I can't really get mad at you because what's the saying, everyone you meet, be kind because everyone you meet is in a great struggle.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You never know what people is going through.
That's right.
Absolutely, yes.
And one thing that's being a songwriter, it makes you more empathetic too, because you have to be empathetic to pick up on those vibes of, when you're writing a song. So I want to listen to people and hear what they have to say. Yes. Although you're also sort of empathetic, where you bring that on yourself if you're not careful. And I'm not good at that. So, but yeah, I know exactly what you mean. When I'll do things, when I get upset, I know probably where that's coming from.
Yeah.
So that makes me a little calmer right away.
Yes. Yeah. That's and I think that is the most powerful, because this is universal. Or relationships and feelings are related to how we connect with other humans.
Yes.
True.
So probably the sad moments are the ones that make you create something that connects a lot with the rest of the world. Yeah.
Well, and that's the challenge as a songwriter too, is to take a personal thing and make it universal.
Yeah.
So something that's happened to you, you can tell that story and still tell a story that she can identify with, or you, or whoever. That's the power of a song.
It's not just us.
Yes. Well,
but even comedy.
Oh, it's true. Yeah.
Even comedy, it comes from something basically bad. Then it's
From
hilarious.
How dramatic it is.
How dramatic it's hilarious.
Josh Billings, American writer, once said that comedy is tragedy standing on its head with its with its pants torn.
Yeah,
yes.
True.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah,
it's true.
And as long as it happens to others, it's fine.
Yeah. I don't want that happening to me.
No.
Yes.
But it's so true.
And I got one last question.
Yeah.
This promise. Is a trap. Okay. One last.
It's gonna be another 2 hours.
No. Promise.
It's just to make you have some relief,
No, Tim. What's the legacy that you would like to leave?
Oh wow. I guess just that
your money.
No, that ain't going to be it. I think
spend it.
It'll be gone now. I think probably the songs. Think about songs as they do live on past you.
They do.
Yeah. And I think of all the people like Daryl kept mentioning Hank Williams last night.
Yes.
He's been dead since 1952, but his songs still, it's just incredible how powerful they are and how people in country music and outside of country music still refer to his songs, still refer to Hank Williams, still refer to Mozart, still refer to all these people who are long gone. But I just wonder how long Beatles songs will be played and sung. I heard a folklorist say that in 500 years, Beatles songs will be folk songs.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah. You think because of the genres are moving.
That's the way music works.
Yes.
Those things tend to happen.
Transitions,
Things we call traditional today were written by people, but we don't remember who they were. They faded into history.
Yeah, like Beethoven.
Yeah.
At the beginning, it was
classical tradition. It's a little different because it's all written down, and they have the music. In our world, it's not written down; it's oral music. So it's sort of like these folk tunes that get passed down and passed down.
Yeah.
And nobody knows who wrote them after a while. I don't think people will play Yesterday 500 years from now and not know that Paul McCartney.
Do you think that someone stole some of the greatest hits?
Maybe.
But then like Beethoven just found them on the floor and said, yeah, that's me. Change the name.
Yeah, here's a new song, man.
Yes. It was hard to come with that. And
but the songs, you know, I mean, I don't really think about that. It's a good question, I guess, but because we're just trying to get through this the best we can, and you know, make sure that we don't do any harm, and we're just trying to pass on good things, and make sure that like something like this festival maybe can inspire a young person the way I was inspired back in the 1975 by going to Wise, Virginia, at Glenn Roberts' Shriners Bluegrass Festival. Larry's brother put on, and maybe somebody will come here that's a kid and say, I like that kind of music. That's pretty cool, you know. So then you're doing something that you don't realize that you're passing on to somebody else, and maybe that's a good answer for that. So I hope.
Okay, yeah, it was, yeah.
It is.
Yeah, sorry, no, I was thinking to something.
We were reflecting on
I was
that.
reflecting.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, but
Okay, Madeira, that was fantastic. Thank you so much.
thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you, man.
I wasn't gonna kiss you on the mouth.
Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, so let's see who's
Next, Blue Highway Fest, Tim Stafford.
Next.